All right, yeah.
Good.
Hey,
Hey, welcome back, guys.
welcome and thank you for joining us for
Yes.
another Friday Live.
So just come in and join the conversation.
That's
Kick
right.
back and have a nice little good old time.
So, our week was great.
Yes, it was.
Today is really warm
Yes.
and humid,
Yep.
but I like it. I am definitely not complaining. If
Yeah,
I
no.
was not here, I would be sitting outside on my patio.
That's right.
So, I am enjoying the weather. I had a great week.
Well, what about me? Did you enjoy hanging out with me?
I do. I always enjoy hanging out
That's
with
what I'm
you.
talking about.
Right?
Yep, that's right.
All right. Had a great time at the gym.
Yeah.
The gym has gotten a little overcrowded, but hey, the more the merrier.
You
We
know,
just
people are, health conscious now, so they're trying to get better.
yeah, and we just have to learn how to
Get
shuffle
in, get
around.
out.
That's right. Get in. We have really been getting in and getting out.
Yeah.
So I have not been posting my workout videos, but I'm going to start doing that, guys. So look out for those. And for those of you out there who are not on your workout grind, make sure you get to it because health is important.
Very.
All right. So who are we?
We are Jason and Tina Marie. We are the hosts of Love and Beyond the I Do podcast and this live recording here on YouTube and Facebook,
And we also are the owners of Legendary Relationship.
which is a mentoring slash coaching business. And we help people to develop and have the type of relationships that they want to have.
Absolutely. You can get all of our information at
Yep. Yep.
I want-
legendaryrelationship.com/info.
So that's Legendary Relationship, one relationship,
Only one.
right? .com/info. All right. So we are going to get into tonight's topic right after we let you know who we are, right after these messages.
All right, here we go.
Cue the video. All right, so welcome back again. Thank you, everyone who is viewing live. And for those of you who are watching the replay, make sure you like,
Mm-hmm.
subscribe, which is just like following us.
Yep.
All right, and share. So make sure you like us.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't cost you anything. You know what? Facebook has started doing stars, I think. I think it's called gold stars or something.
Okay.
So if you see our videos and you like it, you can also give us stars. So you can give Legendary Relationship stars. I believe it's called gold stars or something. All right. So make sure you like, share, hit the share button. You don't have to
Share.
say anything. Just hit share and it'll share on your page. And that way, those people that you know who have relationships and they need to be better, or they can get the knowledge than which we are trying to put out there. You can share it with them, and you can also subscribe to our channel. And subscribing just means that you're following our channel. So whenever a new video, a new podcast, a new episode,
A new anything.
anything that we're doing, you would be advised of it.
Yep.
All right. So let's get into tonight's topic.
All right.
All right. So we are talking about the stages that relationships and marriage go through. And when we know that we're going to go through these stages, right? It's sort of like a baby. You know, a baby goes through certain stages from birth all the way to 18. And even though we may be expecting it, right, sometimes it's a little rockier than what we had anticipated, but at least we know that it's coming. It's the same thing in marriage and relationship. And so when we say marriage and relationship, it's a little different because the stages of marriage can be a little bit different because now you're married. The commitment level is different as opposed to just in a relationship. We know that, we all talk about the honeymoon phase, right? And so that's usually when you're dating and you're in just a relationship. The first stage is usually the euphoric stage, right? Where we have oxytocins and
Nobody can do anything
right,
wrong.
and
Right? That's the
this is
perfect stage.
right. Well, this is the perfect person, and
Yes.
even though he does this and this, somebody else says that you don't see it because the chemicals that are produced in our brain prevents us from seeing anything that's wrong with this person that we have now like got blinders on, right? So we have fallen, and people say in love, and it's not really love, it's just infatuation. It's the ideal of being with this person, how they make you feel, right? It's It's a natural chemical high that we get on. And so we all know that we go through that, right? It's like universally told all the time.
If any phases, they know that phase.
They know that phase.
Right,
They know the honeymoon phase. They know the euphoric phase. They know that,
everything is perfect.
Exactly.
I love this person can do no wrong. It's almost, this person is almost perfect in my eyes. I just love this person. I want to spend as much time with them as possible. We know that phase.
And the reason why we brought this topic up is because Jason and I both know that these stages that we go through in marriage or relationships, it's not like once you go through the stage, that last stage is over with. It doesn't happen like that. It's like anything in our lives. You know, sometimes depending on what cycle we're on in our life, what season we're in.
Yeah, that's what I like to say. I like to say season.
Right.
So if everything is going okay and we go through those four, that's different than if I'm going through some type of challenge.
Right. Exactly.
And they can send us back through those 4 stages all
stages or whatever, right? It sends
all
us
over again.
Right. So the important thing to realize is that once you can be aware and recognize the stage that your relationship or your marriage is in, then you know how to kind of handle it better.
Right.
So then, you know, that way we can say, okay, I understand that my relationship is rocky right now, and this is what's going on. It's kind of to give you a template as to understand what's going on and how to navigate in the relationship at that time. So we also know after the euphoric stage, or after the everything rose-colored glasses, the honeymoon stage. Sometimes we get into that delusional stage where we start to recognize, and this is in marriage, right? So we start to recognize some of the flaws and faults of our mate.
That's more like a reality check.
It is.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Yes. It's the reality stage. It's where you go, wait a minute.
You know, those things that you used to do, I used to like it. It's not so funny now. I don't like them as much.
Or sometimes for people who didn't live together, right now they have moved in with each other. They have to get to know each other. And it's sort of, and I was telling Jason, it's sort of like, you know, when you're working, most of the time jobs realize, or even at school, they realize that you need certain skills, especially when you're working as a team.
Right.
So most jobs will take you through this training to help you understand the stages that, you know, when you're forming a team, what they have to go through. Right. But in marriage, we don't look at that. We don't look at it as a partnership, and we're going to go through stages, and we really need to be trained on how to understand how we move from phase to phase or stage to stage, and what to look forward to, and how to get through it, and how to combat it, and, you know, understanding what's really going on. And it's not, you know, most people at this point, you know, they start to get really irritated with the things that are going on.
Yeah, and I think sometimes they stay in the one phase a little bit longer than they should because they don't recognize it. They just know that they're not in that honeymoon phase because everybody recognizes the honeymoon phase.
Right, yeah.
But the reality phase, they may not pay too much attention to. They're just like, well, I miss being in this phase. But they don't really
pay attention to it.
They know they're not happy because everything is based off
they just start noticing things.
Right.
They don't understand why they think the love is love. Right. What happened? And the thing is that it wasn't love in the first place.
It was infatuation.
It was infatuation. It was
passion.
It was a lot of things.
Yeah.
Right. It was the blur of wanting a relationship, being in a companionship, finding someone that you feel, you know, emotionally or physically attracted to.
Gotcha.
So it's a lot of different things. And then when we move into these other phases where we start to see the person for who they are, and we realize, especially in marriage, right? So we start seeing things like, wow, he leaves his socks around, or
I knew you were gonna mention those socks. Okay.
Or right, for men to go, wait a minute, you don't cook like you used to, right?
Yep.
Right. So we get to those points in our relationship where we start seeing things that we didn't see before.
Right. But they were always there.
They were always there.
To this phase, with the reality phase, we start to notice those little things. Now they starting to just get on my nerves just a little bit.
And it's those little things that help us move into the next stage, where then it's the power struggle.
Yeah, we're struggling now.
Right. So we found out that this person isn't who we thought they were because we didn't even think. So we find out. And so the whole point is that we are going to go through stages in our relationship. And understanding what stage you're in, what's going on, helps you to understand that if you understand it, you can work through it.
Right.
We sometimes we are, we talk about fear, right? The fear of the unknown. And sometimes when we're going through this unknown phase, we think it's an all in, like this is it. This is not working. This is not the relationship. Right.
And get out of this stage.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get a divorce. But if we understand that in a relationship, that we're going to go through all of these things. And as I said, relationships are a little bit different because, can I say that for a second?
Mm-hmm.
Relationships go through a little bit different pattern because you're not married. So
Right.
when you're not married, your relationship kind of goes through some different things. So instead of, the power struggle like most people go through when they're married, because now that we've moved on to seeing things for our partner, then we go through this power struggle where we're arguing and we don't disagree.
The stress stage or whatever.
Right. So, but in relationships, it's more of a crisis stage.
Sure.
It's more of, okay.
You might be ready to bail at this point.
Right. Is this worth it?
Right.
Is this person who I thought he was?
Exactly.
Now you're not.
Oh, yeah, you're talking from a woman's perspective.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. All right.
But go ahead.
No, I just wanted to make sure that you said he. Like, why does he have to be such a bad person? But yeah,
they're similar, but
like,
different.
It's almost like a wake up stage. Like, wait a minute, I'm in a relationship that I'm not sure I really want to be in. I don't really like this person. Do I really want to invest
or we're not as happy as we used to be. Why? And so you're looking for reasons why. And the truth is that you don't really know the person on the level that you thought you did because you were in the romance stage in marriage, or you were in the euphoric stage in a relationship. So if we understand that you're not going to always feel that way.
In the early attachment stage, they didn't go deep enough, so they didn't really learn each other. So you don't really know that person on a deep level.
So in the early with relationships, the early attachment phase, once you come out of that euphoric stage, most people, because they feel that they want that attachment, right? They want to be. They can't get enough of that person. They call them all the time. They want to be with them. What are you doing? Let's get together, right? You enjoy that part, and it can even become addictive, right? People can even get addicted to that, where they need that person next to them. But then when you are coming out of that, right, that early attachment phase, then you start to get to, like Jason said, we start to see things and realize that this person is actually a human being. They're not the person that we thought they were, because our mind has clouded our judgment.
Right.
So, but our point is that when you understand that you're moving from one to the other, and that relationships, just because we've gone through the power struggle or the combative stage, or we've gone through the part where we're arguing back and forth, and now we've moved into more of, an understanding or a stable part, it doesn't mean that our relationship won't go back to that.
Sure, because you can have another challenge come up, and it can send you right through those phases all over again. Like we said before.
Absolutely,
right? Just because, all right, so just in case in point, children can send you back through all those phases. You're euphoric about the new birth and everything.
Right.
Wonderful. And then you got those 2 a.m. feedings, and the baby wants to sleep at night. You got to get them to go to work, and then you have a crisis stage at that point. So you can go through all these different stages based on where you are in your life.
Right. And so, it's most people think, okay, well, we've done the love stage, we've done the arguing stage. Now we're going to get into the stable stage where, we pretty much know who we are, and we're kind of content with each other, and we become friends, and we've accepted, each other for their flaws. But then sometimes if there's a change in job, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or someone else comes into the picture, right? Right now your partner has a coworker that's pretty attractive, or now you're back in school, or you decide to make a career change, or you're not working at all, whatever it may be. Understanding that your relationship is going to shift and change just as you shift and change. There is no, we've made it to this point, this is it. And that's the problem when we talk about putting marriages on cruise control, because you think that because you've gotten married and you've made it over, one little molehill of getting to 5 years or 10 years, you've made it. Really, the challenges are just now coming because now you haven't put in the energy or the effort to really direct your relationship on where you want it to be. So now you're further in, you you know each other, but now it, it's more of a battle now because now you become a different person than you were 10 years ago.
Exactly.
And so, go ahead.
And then I can't react to you the same way I did 10 years ago because you developed. Another thing that we didn't throw in there is part of change is personal development.
Yeah,
so as
absolutely.
you develop,
Right.
you change.
Right.
So everything about your relationship change. So then I can see you back through phases because as I become a better person, that may create friction in my relationship. And if it creates friction in my relationship, we go back around again to deal with some of those stages. Right.
And some of those issues.
Right.
And so understanding that life is not, you're never going to get to that point where you can just cruise and everything is going to be happy. Where you're just going to be, your relationship is just going to be happily ever after. That never happens. Even when you get to a stage in your relationship where you guys are have pretty much accepted who you are, right? You've changed, you've elevated, you've whatever it is, because we shift and change. And right, and now we're shifting and changing together. Life is always going to throw something at you that's unexpected where you're going to have to change with the tide.
Oh, yeah.
And so if you are not consciously aware of what's going on in your relationship, you can't understand that this is just a phase and you can get through it. Just like they say, right? When it rains, it doesn't mean it's going to rain forever. It just means it's raining now. So you have to understand that fights come, challenges come, but you have to take a step back and say, it's not that I am, throwing this relationship away, or I don't think there's any hope, because the truth of the matter is that it's all in perspective. It's all at how you look at your relationship and how you view it. If it's a valuable relationship to you and you truly love the person, you want it to work, then there's awareness of what's going on that can help you find the tools and the things that you need that can help you guys work through it.
Hey guys, can you let us know if our sound's gotten any better? Someone had mentioned that our sound was kind of gargled. So if you can let us know if our sound is better, we really appreciate it.
I hope you get. And so, guys, thanks for letting us know. Because we are working through some things, we're changing some things around, and so we definitely need to make sure that we are being heard. So,
so if you could just type in the comments and just kind of let us know if our sound is okay, we would really appreciate it.
Yes, please give us a thumbs up. Okay, can you understand us better? Are the words coming across clear? Okay,
better now. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks
All right.
a lot.
Thanks so much, guys. I hope, that first part was good. So if you didn't get it, I hope it'll come back better, because I'm definitely not repeating it. So all I was saying is that we go through phases in the relationship, and we have to be aware of what phases we're going through. We're going to go through phases where it's a struggle, right? It's going to be a battle of who's going to win. It's an ego. It's a battle between you and your mate, and it's not that you don't love each other. It's a power struggle because you're trying to figure out where everybody fits together. It could be a power struggle because now you're trying to change, but your partner doesn't like change, right? It could be a power struggle because now you've moved up in your career, and now before you had more of an employee position, now you're more of a manager position,
right?
Which sometimes we can't leave the position that we have at work. We think that we're the manager at home. Exactly. Yeah. And that causes a very big strife in marriages when we can't put down what we do for who we are.
Yeah, because we've trained in that, right?
Exactly.
So we've got training. We know how to lead people. We know how to do all that. And then we come home. It's hard to turn that off.
It's hard. We think that our mate is supposed to listen and do exactly what we say, just like the people who are under us. Yeah. And they don't understand that.
Right.
It's being awareness of what we're doing that's not working in our relationship, and how as we shift and change, the relationship is going to shift and change. And when we understand what phase we're in, we can kind of deal with it better, right? It's sort of like if it's going to snow, you know you're going to need a snow brush in your car, right?
Right.
You know you're going to need a shovel,
Right.
right? So it's the same thing in our relationship. If we get the right tools to help us through these challenging times where it's up, 1 minute we're in love with each other, everything is grand, you know, everything is going smooth, and then 2 3 months or 2 3 years later, whichever one, right,
Mm-hmm.
then things are not so grand. It doesn't mean that the relationship has failed or that you guys are incompatible or that there's no hope. It just means that we have to learn how to deal with the stages as the stages come up and back and forth and sideways. You know, kids throw in a whole different
Oh,
thing.
dynamics. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
when they come into your relationship and when they leave,
Yep.
or when you have adult children that are constantly in your relationship, and then it puts us in the middle, right? So you may feel that you want to help your children, and your mate may say, well, they need to stand on their own.
There's definitely some friction there when you
There's
have children, and sometimes the children are good at manipulating parents,
they are
and
they
they can
are
play both sides of the middle, and they know how to give what they want because as the kids grow up, the children grow up, they learn how to communicate with the
yeah
parent and what I can get from each parent,
right.
right? And especially if you guys don't communicate. Now, if you don't communicate, they don't win that battle.
So it takes you back into a certain stage in your relationship where you guys have to
Can we just kind of
go ahead.
go ahead and recap?
Yep, go ahead and recap.
Yep.
All right. So
Right. So some of the one of the first stages was like the romance stage, just man, the fantasy stage, how we falling in love, we having a lot of sex, life is good. This is in a marriage, right? So I'm not saying it's not happening in a relationship, but that is that stage. It's not euphoric, but it is the best part of the marriage. I mean, it's like it's the honeymoon part, right? It's like
what's not the best? It's the beginning. So it seems like the best because
okay,
when
so
you
I
get
say
to the
this, it
phase where
should
it's
be the best.
no, it
Right?
shouldn't because
Yeah.
when you get to the love phase where it's pure love and pure understanding and pure happiness, then it's not set on just
Well,
sex.
I view the beginning stages as pure happiness because that's the happiest I've ever been if I'm with someone and I'm sharing time with them.
But we're talking about as we move through the
I
stages. So
understand that, but when I'm in this stage, this is the happiest to me.
but it's not in the whole
reality,
scope
in the
of
whole
it.
scope of it,
Right.
right? But this
Right.
is what it feels like
Right.
to me.
Right. Well,
Right.
it's going to feel like this is the beginning. It's the romance.
There
If
you
you
go.
just said I
Right.
do,
Right.
now you're getting
We
to
don't have
know
any
each other.
issues, and you shouldn't have any issue, but we don't have any
Hopefully.
issues. Hopefully,
Right.
We don't have
Exactly.
any issues, so we're just doing our thing and we're getting to know each other on a surface level.
On where it's more physical
Right.
with an attachment of emotional,
Yeah.
but there's no problems. We don't see the problems. The romance stage or the euphoric stage in relationships or marriage, we don't see the problems.
That's the key right there. We don't see the problem.
Absolutely.
They're there, but we just somehow we can't
It's
see
it's it's perspective.
it's perspective.
When you're happy, you don't see the things that don't matter.
Right? When we look out that window,
Right.
we only see the good.
That's right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, then the next phase is more like the the reality phase. Where
Right.
you just start to get on my nerve just a little bit.
And it keeps going. And it keeps
growing.
growing. And it keeps growing.
And it
You see
keeps-
one thing,
Right.
and then you see
I
another
don't like
thing.
this about you.
I didn't know you snored. I didn't know you chewed like that. I didn't know you ate that late. I didn't know you left your socks around. I didn't know
There
you
we go with
didn't
the
cook. I didn't know you didn't clean. I didn't know you were going to be late all the time.
Right.
It's that phase where we start to see
Yep.
every little thing
Yep.
that irritates us, and it becomes under a microscope. It's
Yep.
like full blown.
Yeah, that's the reality check stage is something else. It's like you're not even the same person that we were just falling in love and all in love and everything. Everything's wonderful. Now, the same things like I said you used to do, it really irritates me to my core. It's like
Sometimes it
really,
does. You're right.
Yeah, it really hurts me that you do that. Whatever it is, it's like wow, I didn't see that. And you
And
push
it doesn't.
yourself.
It does. So my big point is that it doesn't leave. You get to a point where you recognize the things that your mate have done, but then as you get older, you might go back to that stage again because, like I said, as we shift and change, we pick up other habits, or we start doing things that we didn't do, and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So relationships are always going to change. There is no one size fits all. There's no happily ever after. There's no once we get to the love, the romance, and once I get to this point of I've elevated, you've elevated, we have the same goals, that everything is going to be peaches and cream. It's never peaches and cream. It's peaches and cream, and then there's melted ice cream, and then there's frozen yogurt. So we have to understand that the stages that we go through, it's okay. It's okay to go through stages, but if you're aware of what you're going through and why you're going through them and what it calls for you to do and understand and be more to understand what it takes to be more effectively communicating with each other. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Okay, no, I was just looking at the comments. I said the static was back,
Oh.
but because I had adjusted the sound up some. So I'm wondering if it's okay. Hey, Nancy, go ahead and get some of these. So, guys, chime in. Let me know where you at, what season you're in your relationship. Do you feel like you're euphoric or in the passion, reality?
So Kelly had told us that we were having technical difficulties and she couldn't really understand of Jake. Like I said, we were messing around with some of the sounds to see what kind of goes better. And so she did say it was kind of staticky.
Mm-hmm.
So Jason was going back through some of the things that we talked about in the beginning, and she said it was better, but just let us know if you can hear us and if it's a clear sound. I hate doing video and you can't understand it. It's just a way. So if we're still having static or we're still having technical difficulties, we'll just, hey, hopefully you can get what you get. We'll do a recap and then we'll catch you guys next Friday as we work out these kinks with the mic and the system as we're playing around with the things in the studio. So we just want to say shouts out to Kelly. Hey, Kelly, thank you for joining us. Hey, Nancy, thank you for joining us. You going to put the name up there or no? Hey, Lavanya, thank you for joining us. Did you put Nancy?
Yeah, Lavanya, where you at? That's it.
Clear at the moment.
Yeah,
okay.
So I must be at the right level. So, okay, thank you very much for that, Kelly. I appreciate it. Yep. So I want to adjust it from that. Go ahead.
All right. Hi, Nancy. And it could be when we both talk. So I don't know. He's working with things.
Yeah. So I got a new soundboard, so I have to work out the kinks with the soundboard. So.
All right. So Sandra said, thank God I can read what y'all saying. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Good.
Isn't that so wonderful?
Can you keep up? Because I know I can speak a little fast sometimes. So now that I know that you're reading it, I'm going to have to say it slow because some of this was definitely directed towards you as I help you to.
Right. So, Sandra, what phase are you in right now?
So we have to understand we go through the romance phase. We go through the disillusional phase, which is the reality phase. We go through the power struggle, right? We go through the phase where now we are back at trying to understand each other and we're trying to stabilize the relationship. So we're the stability where we have accepted each other and things are okay, but we're not completely happy. And then we have to get back to the commitment stage where we understand that a relationship is more than seeing a person for their flaws. We're committed to the relationship. We're committed to each other. We're committed to our family. And so therefore, we're looking for ways to understand what's going on and how do we work through it. Oh, okay. So you know what that means? That means that Jason and I weren't supposed to talk today. So it's 6:30. And you guys put on the what is
closed
it?
Caption.
The closed captions, and listen to it and see it. But we thank you guys. Jason loves to tinker around, and
sure do.
Even though we record it beforehand and practice it, sometimes things just happen. So I think it's because it's warm outside, and I need to be outside enjoying the weather. So guys, we really wanted to talk on this topic. So maybe next Friday we can touch on it again. And I know that a lot of people are out enjoying the weather. And I just want to say, so Jason always tells me not to say.
Oh, no, she meant the static phase. You know what, Sandra? You know what?
Sandra thinks she's slick. Okay. All right.
I like that.
Oh, the static cling where you guys are clinging to each other?
I think that's the phase
That's the phase she meant.
That's it. Yeah.
That static cling phase is something else.
Yeah.
But guys, on the serious note.
But I want to say something about the commitment stage.
Uh-huh.
It's more like the recommitment stage because you've already committed, and you might, just like I said, you might be on your second or third phase of all this different stuff, right? So depends on where you are, and if you're coming around. She said, "Nope." Nope. So like I said, so when you get to the commitment stage, you may be in that season quite a few times throughout your lifetime. So as your relationship evolves, you'll recommit again.
And
So,
you're going to, if you get the right tools and the awareness of what's going on in the phase that you're in now, where you're just irritated and you want change and you want your partner to change and you want things to immediately get better, that's a phase. That is a phase. And we can get through that as a couple. You truly can. You can get through that. And so understanding that just as, sometimes in life we lose ourselves as moms, or we lose ourselves as women, or we lose ourselves as people. And then we get back, we realize that something's lost. And then we do the things we need to do to get back in alignment with who we are and recognizing ourselves. That's the same thing that goes on in our relationship. So when we understand what's going on, right? And we take the I off of the person, because I means me, right? So when we take the I off ourselves and we put it on, when we take it off of them, take our I off our partner and put it on ourselves. Looking at the names, then we can understand how to work through this. So we got another one from Angela. Hello, Angela. Hey,
said
fam.
It was staticky, but it is it's better now. Thank
All
you
right.
so much. We appreciate that, Angela.
All right. So it seems as though we keep going in
Phases,
and out.
though, but I do want to know what phase you're in, though, right now.
So Angela, Kelly, Sandra. Oh, Sandra told us she's in the static clean phase. Lavanya, Nancy. Tell us if you guys even know. Do you even realize that a marriage goes through phases, just like, and it's important to get trained in them, just like companies and school help people to get trained on how to be a teammate. It's important to how to be a partner, how to make your marriage work, how to make your relationship work. And it starts by understanding that sometimes we don't know all the answers because we haven't gone through it. And if we don't get the right tools and techniques or the right training or the right understanding, then either the relationship, we go our separate ways and it doesn't work, and we think that it was a failed relationship, which in reality, we just didn't give it enough of what we had to understand what was going on, to work through getting to know each other or getting to normalize our relationship or getting to the stabilized part, right? Everybody wants the same thing. So if your mate isn't changing, it's because they want change too.
You hear that, Sandra?
No, we're not calling no names.
Okay, we're not calling out any names, Sandra.
But I do want to say this, and then we're going, and maybe we'll talk about it again next week.
Hold on, let me put this up there for Kelly. Kelly has a comment.
Okay.
It says, "I'm going to carry my Mirror Works book all through the phases and make it through."
All right, good for you, Kelly.
You know
Absolutely,
that's one
absolutely.
way of making it through the phases.
Yes. That's part of it, because when we shift our focus and we realize that if we knew better, then we can do better, right? We want better,
right?
But we don't become aware of what to do to make ourselves better, to make it through.
Now, I got a question for you, Kelly. How has, I don't know how long you've been working with the Mirror Works, but how has that improved your vision of yourself or of your self-worth, or however you want to put it? How has it changed you? What have you noticed?
Or if maybe she hasn't changed anything yet. Maybe she hasn't noticed anything yet.
Or you're just new with working with it.
Yeah.
But, if you can, I mean, if you've had any type of breakthrough or revelations or anything like that, if you could just, if you don't mind sharing, that would be great.
Putting people on a blast like that.
Yeah. But you know what?
But I know
this is good, right? Because we always talk about what the book means and
right.
how it helps.
Right.
But for someone else.
And it helps you heal. It helps you understand that self-love really is important. And it's looking back in our relationship, I can see there were times when I didn't have self-love. And I was looking for that love from my mate because of the romance stage, because of the euphoric stage, because everything was so focused on me in the beginning, right? The euphoric, the happiness, the love, the you all I ever wanted phase. And then when you get to that phase where the reality check and he don't really like you sometimes and you don't really like him, it's not all that fun.
Nope.
But I did, before we go on with the conversation, it is July, and so I'm not going to call out names,
Okay.
but I am going to say happy birthday to all of the wonderful people who were born in July.
Yeah.
And you know who you are. So happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to everyone, because last time I called out some names and then somebody said, you forgot my name and you didn't call my
Everyone
name.
that's
And
born in the month of July.
everybody who was
I
born.
told her, do not start calling names because you're going to forget some people.
And you do, you
Yep.
do, because everybody is important. We love everybody. We really don't want to miss anybody. So let's get our thumbs out and some names who was giving us some thumbs. So we do want to give some shout outs for everyone who was tuning in and understanding that self-love is important. We have to stop looking outside of ourselves
Oh, for sure.
when things don't go right. Right? We want to complain. We want to get irritated. We want to get upset. We want to find someone to put the it's because of them. But the issue is that if we don't love ourselves, then it doesn't matter if someone loves us, because we won't know how to accept that love anyway, because we're still looking for something that no one else can give us but ourselves. Let's read Kelly's message.
Thank you so much, Kelly. We really appreciate you responding.
Yes.
Go ahead. It has been a very interesting process each day. Yes, it has.
Doing the mirror. I'm gonna read it from here.
Okay.
Doing the mirror work has brought out things I believed I worked past, some things I wasn't aware I have not worked on at all.
Woo. Yes.
I have laughed.
Yep.
I've cried.
Mm.
I have I have what?
Dance in anticipation.
For the continued work on myself. I have
also acknowledged the areas that I have left or
left on, loved, and so much more. What a powerful part in the wonderful process.
That's
yes.
the thing. And
I hope we read it right.
Yeah,
so we again,
I know,
I'm
right?
like, right. Between Jason and I, we're doing awful. So you guys read it. Read her message. Yeah. Exactly. And it's funny because the very first time I did the book, I cried, because we realized there's a part of us that we haven't healed.
I think we all
right?
do. If you actually doing the mirror work, you will. Yeah.
Let's go to the next one. Thank you, Kelly, so much for sharing. And I hope that the process continues to be wonderful for you. It continues to be an exploration into yourself and understanding that the past really has no power over what you choose your future to be. Right. And so Sandra says, I call out my own name. Sandra, happy birthday. Happy birthday, Sandra. All right. So we calling out Sandra for her own name. She says.
So I guess that Sandra's birthday is in July.
It's in July.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's in July. There you go. All right. So everybody has a special day. So is there anyone else who understands that relationships go through phases, they go through stages, and that it doesn't matter how hard the stage or the phase is right now, if you understand what's going on and you give yourself the permission to find out what you need to do to work through it, do you think that it's worth taking time to either read or learn or get trained or just find out what's really going on? Because sometimes we're so close to the problem that we think this is the only problem and I'm never going to get over it. I can't get over the way I feel about this problem or my mate or the situation. But the truth of the matter is that just like you start the way that you feel now, you would have never thought you would have felt that way when you were in the love stage.
True.
Right?
True.
So there's going to be stages, and we may think we can't get over something, but we didn't think we were ever going to be here either. So we just have to understand that as we grow and as we change, our relationship is going to grow and change. And that's the whole purpose of having a marriage or relationship, is to grow with a person, is to have a companionship, is to build stability with one another, is to have emotional and physical connection that you can't share with just everybody or any old body, right?
All right, so Angela says calling names can get you in trouble.
Yes.
So I'm going to do the shout out. Happy birthday to my amazing, phenomenal, and wonderful son, Jordan.
All right. So you
Happy birthday, Jordan.
Happy birthday to Jordan. Happy birthday, Jordan. All right.
Oh,
see?
since we're throwing out names.
No. Now, unless it's your birthday.
It's not my birthday,
you
but
can't-
it's my dad's birthday.
Now, there you go throwing names.
It's throwing
You
names.
said everybody in July.
I did say everybody in July.
Okay, you got to type it in.
Oh,
so
y'all
I'll
might
read
not
it.
get it.
You got to type it in so I can read it.
Might not get it.
All right. Happy birthday to my father-in-law, Jason's great, wonderful dad, Henry Wilson.
Yep.
All right. Happy birthday, Henry.
Yep. Happy birthday. We had
Happy
a good
birthday,
time the
old
other day.
Hank.
Yep.
All right. Yes, his birthday was Thursday.
Yes.
Thursday. His birthday was Thursday, so we were over there celebrating, and
No, it was Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yep, Wednesday, the 12th.
Okay.
Yep.
It was Wednesday the 12th.
Yep.
All right, so we were over there. Happy birthday to everyone in July. Thank you so much. I think that's
That
it for
didn't go over
today.
well.
What?
So you said happy birthday to the people to the month of July.
Right.
And then people still had their shout outs.
Yeah, because they.
But you didn't shout them out.
I didn't, and I didn't forget
There
any
you go.
names.
There you go.
I didn't forget any names because I don't want somebody to say, "Well, why didn't you say this name?" And why didn't you say? Happy birthday to everybody. Everybody.
Happy birthday to everybody.
Everybody. All right. So I do know some people, and I'm not going to shout them out. I'm just going to say happy birthday to everyone who was born in the month of July. Okay, let's see what Kelly says. I have acknowledged the areas I have left unloved. Yes,
Yep.
I now know. I now know need to love myself more. I now know I need to love myself more. Absolutely.
That's the thing.
Yes.
But you know what? It's funny, Kelly. It sounds so like duh. You need to love yourself, right? But we forget. We
No,
we
well, it ain't
don't
that
like. Well,
it's not that we forget. We were never taught.
Well,
I was
one,
never
we never
taught.
But you know what?
You think that
But you think you come out saying and you feel like you love yourself.
you do.
But you don't.
And
you don't tell yourself that enough.
And you don't even realize the areas in which you're not showing that you
Exactly.
love yourself.
That's what I said. It seems so rudimentary, right? Like, duh, you love yourself,
Right.
of course.
Right.
But you never tell yourself that. You'll point out all the different things, but it sure is refreshing when you sit in the mirror and you say those things to yourself. The emotions that you feel, the love that you feel, it's okay to let go. It is
And
something.
it's what you may be working through now that looking in the mirror can help you get through it.
Yeah.
Right? Because sometimes, and as I've said before, right, we talk about change and, people have chimed in and said change doesn't necessarily mean good or bad. It just means something different, right? And so as we're doing this mirror work, we understand that it's not that we're doing something wrong in our lives. We just have to do something different that makes us feel better. And part of that is loving ourselves for who we are, right? Loving our mate for who they are. We have to stop wanting people to be something that they're not. And when they don't show up as what we want them to be, then we're upset. We have to accept people for who they are. And in that same spectrum, as I accept Jason for who he is and he accepts me for who I am, we have to work through the issues that each one of us have because we're not perfect.
Right.
So you got to accept me for who I am, but then I have to be able to be aware of the issues that I carry with me, and then he and I have to work through them. I can't expect him to just accept all my flaws, and you would either, but it's accepting me for who I am and understanding that we're going to continue on this road of change for the better.
Right. And you know what? When you go down this road of change, you unearth a lot of different things, a lot of
Absolutely.
different emotions
Yeah.
and reflections about yourself. So it does not make the road easy when you go down here.
Right.
When you start to reflect and you try to become a better person.
And
Actually, the road
sometimes
can
we
roll up.
deflect. Sometimes the things that we want for ourselves, we're deflecting it because we want our partners to do it.
Right.
And so it's an issue that we really have with ourselves. And so we have that issue with our partner.
Right.
Right?
Right. So we just have to give ourselves some grace, right, when we're going through things and you're starting to unearth these things. It's just, that's why I said mirror works, helps. So
that's one big tool that we've definitely support, right? And I mean, I can't wait for our book to get out and just to be able to help people to see part of what we do in coaching, part of the process in change, the process in being able to shed the old us and wake up to the new us.
Sure.
Sandra and them said some things.
Yeah. Sandra says, I feel it's a lot of pressure for someone to give someone they don't even give to themselves. Give something to someone that they don't even give to themselves. That's true. I need to apologize to them. That's exactly right. Yes, that is so
Yes.
true. Again, it's awareness, right?
Yep.
If we never go down this road, we don't know that we even feel this way or these things come up. So now you recognize that this is an issue,
And I
right?
hope you guys are really understanding the whole point in our channel, which is helping people to understand that marriage and relationships, they are that one area in our lives that we don't get training from the beginning. Our parents don't tell us how to have a good relationship.
Who doesn't tell
School
us?
doesn't tell us. We can't look at our friends because they don't know. And so it's more of a I'm going to look around and see what I think is supposed to be, and then I'm going to try to duplicate that, or I'm just going to fake it till I make it in every day, or the ultimate goal is to say I do. And then once you say I do, then everything else disappears. And the problem is that that's the end of that singleness, but then it's the beginning of something else. And no one teaches us, no one tells us that it's okay to get training. It's okay to find out what's required. It's okay to understand the dynamics in a relationship and how to work through them, because we're just human, right? We get training in work. We're always talking about all this corporate training on how to get along, how to understand people's personalities, how to read somebody, how to form a team, and how to make it work. It's the same thing in our marriages and in our relationship and with our kids, right? Because as kids get older, they change and the whole dynamics of the family changes. And so it's okay, you know.
I think one of the part, excuse me, I don't mean to cut you off,
That's all
but one of the things about parenting is the kids grow and evolve, but we still see them in the same light as being a child.
You
But
speaking
we
from
don't.
experience,
I
like your dad telling you to get a napkin.
yeah. So I went on my dad's house for Father's Day, and then I was eating an ice cream sandwich. Yeah, boy, get yourself a napkin so you don't mess up your clothes. And I'm thinking, man, I know how to eat an ice cream sandwich, bro. Come on. But he still sees me as his child, right? Although I evolved and I have kids. So
Grown kids.
grown kids, right? So as parents, and we need to watch out for this, love your kids through the process, but then when they become adults, you may have to pull back the reins a little bit.
You gotta let
And
go
you
and let them
have to
do it.
let them.
Be
You have to
what you.
you have to
Yes.
put them in the driver's seat of their own life. Now you could be a passenger or a backseat driver,
And
but
it's
you have to
nothing.
be able to give them guidance at that point. You just can't be so controlling over another adult.
I know we talk about in relationships that it needs love, respect, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have to love and respect our kids, despite the decisions that they make in their lives. We have to understand that we respect them through it.
Mm-hmm.
We may not think it's the best decision, but it's not
Lord
our
knows.
lives,
Yeah.
right? It's not the way we see things or the way we want to do things doesn't mean that it's the right way for everybody. That's just the way we've been conditioned. That's just our way of thinking that this is the way. It may not be the way. As my mother said, there's more than one way to skin a cat, and I'm sure everyone has heard that. So we have to understand that in relationships, just like our mate, and in the relationship of any relationship, in order for it to work, we have to respect the person who we're in the relationship with, whether that's our coworker, whether that's our mate, whether that's our children. We have to respect people if we want people to respect us. But even if they don't, we have to be able to understand it's a fine line between continuing to parent somebody and
Mm-hmm.
allowing them to become their own adult, make their own decisions, and support them in it.
Right.
Right? Same thing with our mate. We can't put these unsaid, unrealistic expectations on our mate and want them to jump through these hoops. And when they don't, we don't understand why. We're all upset. So it's just becoming aware of the things that we do that are really this detrimental to our relationship
Mm-hmm.
instead of adding to our relationships. Let's see what Kelly said.
Yep. I believe that I was loving myself through my season of healing or elevation. But the reality, I'm continually evolving and growing and changing. That's
And
true.
we never stop, Kelly. We never stop. We think that there's this superficial or there's this unknown place that when we get there, everything is gonna be great. We never stop growing. We never stop wanting. We never stop loving. We never stop doing. We never stop being. the whole purpose of it is to enjoy life together or to enjoy life more.
Yes.
And if we're focused on all the bad things and all the negative things and all of the things that we don't like, how can we possibly enjoy the things that are sitting right in front of our face?
There
How
you
can
go.
we enjoy the positives of our mates if we're not focused on them?
Right.
And so, Kelly, I totally agree with you, right? You thought you were loving yourself through this season. And the thing is that you're going to constantly change, because once you become a better Kelly, you're going to be like, wow, I want this and I want that and I want to be able to do this and I want to be able to have that. And so
And
we
now
never,
you have the belief behind it, right? Before it was
and the
maybe a
love.
wish, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love myself enough to know that I can have this. I can develop into this. I can be this. I can, I love myself through all of this, whether it be my shortcomings or whatever. I want this. I can have it. All I have to do is develop into it.
And I know our kids are very sensitive to the change that goes on within us. When we change the way we love ourselves and the way we tolerate things around us, they respond and they know. They're like, something is different.
Yep.
Right? And so we have to do it not only for ourselves, but for the betterment of our sanity.
Yes.
Right? So we're not stressed. When we understand how to handle situations and problems, it relieves us from the burden of stress, the burden of wanting someone else to change, the burden of wanting a situation to change and just constantly feeling stress around it. We totally do have the power. As I told, when you're waiting for somebody else to change or for something else to do, what you're doing is you're putting your power inside of their hands, and that means that you're giving up your power as who you are. And I want the power to be happy. I choose to be a deliberate thinker on what I want, how I want to react, how I want to be, how I want to feel. And I know I've gone to the women's conference, and you know I've constantly heard that if you're thinking a thought that doesn't feel good and I don't like the way it feels, then I'm going to stop thinking that
Just
thought.
stop thinking the thought. Now,
Exactly.
that's another aha moment.
Another exact, and
right? So if
it's
I'm thinking thoughts that don't make me happy, then stop thinking the thoughts.
and we think, but we want to make excuses why we think them.
thinking the
But
thoughts.
wait, but they did
But
this.
it's not making me happy.
Exactly. That's what we have to understand.
So,
We have the power to choose what we're going to look at, how it's going to make us feel, and if we decide to be happy or stressed over it.
right. So if you're thinking about something that's stressing you out and making you unhappy, just change your thought pattern.
Right.
Just feel. Like think about something that's going to make you happy. Right.
Or shift your perspective.
shift my perspective.
Try
You
to
can look
find
at
the
it from a
good in
different
whatever it
angle.
is that's stressing you.
Right.
Or don't think about what's stressing you at all, and therefore it won't stress you.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Because you're in control. No one's making you think about this.
All right.
But you.
And so, guys, I think that's going to
Yep.
wrap it up for us. We thank you again for tuning in. If you're
Thank you
watching
so
this,
much.
we do apologize for any static or any gargling. We are going through some, what is this?
We're playing with some technology.
Our studio. So we are going through
it's
some studio
evolving, so we're
upgrade.
doing a bunch of changing
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
Exactly.
So just bear with us to it. The content is good. So
But if you wanted, I know you were going through because they missed a couple of phases. So did you want to go back through them, or did you understand them as far as the marriage or in relationship, and just helping people when you know?
But it was good
when you
after
know.
everything.
Okay.
Yep. It was just like the fantasy stage. Everything is good for it and stuff like that. And then we have the reality stage, which is you start to
Put your hand down. Go ahead. You already gargled.
And then you have the power struggle stage. It's like I got to prove my point. I'm not happy, and then you want to highlight all the things you're not happy about, and then you got to just fighting over the unnecessary.
Who's gonna win?
Right.
Nobody wants to lose. It's not that you want to win. It's just that you don't want to lose.
And that's the thing, But if you're not fighting, then the relationship wins. But if you're fighting to prove that you are right, then the relationship loses. So I mean,
It's just perspective. That's right.
It's just perspective. And then you have the stability. You want to become stable, and that's when things are just good, right? I mean, you hear people say all the time, "I'm in a good place,"
or we're okay.
We're okay, right?
Right.
We're stable.
Right.
There's no storm.
Right. It doesn't mean we love each other, or I'm ecstatically happy. It just means that it's all right.
It's all right.
We made it through the storm, and we okay. It is what it is. But we know that there can always be more.
Right. And then you get to the commitment, then you recommit, and just say, you know what, look,
To the whole relationship.
Right, I'm here. I love you, and I'm
As Dennis said last week, what we're in it to win it.
right. I mean, because you're in it, right?
Right.
So it's like if I'm here, I want to be happy. I want to be loved. I want to love you. I want to be the person that you want me to be, and I want to show up in the relationship the way I want to be loved.
And the truth of the matter is that it doesn't matter who you're with now, because if you leave, if you decide to get a divorce or go with another person or get another relationship, if you haven't done the work on yourself, you're going to experience the same thing.
Yep, you're going to be right back at these stages.
Right. But you're going to be at these stages anyway. But
Right.
the point is that you're going to go through them even worse, and you're going to wonder, why do I keep going through them and can never work through them and resolve them? I'm just always going through them. So that's the ultimate goal, to not only understand that they're going to happen, but to anticipate them, to look for them, and to have the tools to work through them. If you know your car is going to need an oil change, then you are anticipating it. You're going to know what to do to get through it. If
Right.
you're expecting a snow, for it to snow, you're going to need a snow brush, right? So it's just, if you're going to have a baby, there's certain things that you need for that baby. So it's
Like
the same thing.
patience.
It's the same, or a bed, or diapers, or milk, right? There's certain things you're going
You're going to definitely need some patience.
So it's just being aware of the things that relationships go through, and not just thinking that no one else goes through them. We all go through difficult times because we're two different people trying to make it work, and with two different ideas, two different beliefs, two different backgrounds, right? But the thing is that when we understand and we anticipate that we're going to make it and we're going to overcome and we're going to work through it, then it helps us to have a different perspective as of, I'm never going to make it. This is never going to happen. He's never going to change. She's never going to change. Was never going to work, right? So we have to look at things differently and understand that we all change. We all go through stuff, whether it's in the relationship or just personal. And it's so funny how we're so patient with ourselves, but we're not patient with our mate.
Yeah. Because I'm forgiving of myself. I mean, I
Yeah,
know
we
my
are.
shortcomings, so I don't have to be that tough on but my mate.
Right.
Oh, I know all of your things that push my buttons.
Right. That is always
Yeah,
right.
it's glaring, but mine.
And it's just like if I tell you something about yourself, you may not always accept it.
Yep.
But if you tell yourself about it, you like, oh, well,
I know I need
could
to
be.
get up.
Right. I know I need to change.
Yep.
We're so forgiving of ourselves, but we just so blaringly, hardcore on somebody else.
For sure.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we hope that you understood us. We hope that you take this advice and you do something with it. We hope that you are actually working on yourself and your relationship. So we want to give a shout out for all of our thumbs up and our likes from Alan Welch, Kelly Dickerson, Elliot Ortiz, Sandra Robinson. Thank you guys for tuning in. We love you. We appreciate you. We got our likes from Leota Scott. All right.
Leotis, what's going on, man?
All right. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We hope that you were actually able to hear us. We appreciate you. Happy birthday to all the July birthdays. And that is it from the Dynamic Duo in Marriage. And as always, we're in it to win it.
Till next week, guys. Love you. See you soon.